what I'm going to go over tonight is just, what our goals are this year for advocacy and action. And then I'm going to talk about our first campaign, which I'm really, really excited about. So last year was a pretty incredible year, as all of you know. A lot of you got to participate in some of the things that we did. We had an amazing volunteer summit. It was just incredible. We had such an inspirational speaker with Mark Dent, who came out from the Every Life Foundation. It was just wonderful. And then, of course, we had our first ever DC fly-in. So some really cool things came out of that DC fly-in, folks. And our advocacy work group is now about 29 people strong, which is pretty incredible considering where we were just a year ago. So that's really exciting. And when we went to DC, we had 3 asks. So one of our asks was for the PWS Awareness Month, or I'm sorry, PWS Awareness Day. I am working on a sponsor for that right now. The language is ready. We don't have a bill number, but we're working on it. If there's anybody that you met with while we were in DC, if you were in DC, who is inclined to sign on to this, please shoot me a private message, either offline or send me an email offline. Let me know so that I can follow up with them. As we go into the month of May, that's kind of where we're headed. In addition to that, I am in the process of waiting for a package for CDMRP dollars. Hold on one second, somebody's coming in. So CDMRP is the Congressionally Designated Medical Research Program, and that will open up the door for some funding for us for research projects that we have pinned as an organization that we want to start taking part in. So we're really excited about that. And that will actually go through the congressional budget process. So how that works is January, February, you start to get the applications, you fill them out, you submit them. President's budget goes to Congress in March, and then everybody starts fighting for a while. And that's the very abridged version of how that's going to work. So we're really excited about being able to do that. And we're really excited to have the opportunity to help fund some grants for our community and really get back into the research pillar. That's a part of what we do at PWSA. And then finally, what is a direct result of our meetings in DC is the ELPFDD. What is that, guys? That is the externally led, patient-focused drug development meeting that we are having at conference. I know it's a lot to put, it's a lot to say. It's a big, it's one of those government tongue twisters. But basically, this is a program that the FDA has had for about 16 years. They revamped it about 12 years ago, and it's to incorporate the patient voice in drug development. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me, what is this? Is this going to help stuff that we have going on right now? It's not going to be an immediate solution to what we're dealing with. But nothing that we're going to be dealing with at the FDA or in government at this point is going to be an immediate solution to what we're looking. People will ask, oh, hey, is this going to fix DCCR? No. But what is this going to do? Out of this meeting that we're able to do at conference, we will be providing something called the Voice of the Patient report. Now, this report actually gets published. And when drug companies are looking to the FDA, they actually go to the FDA and they say, hey, listen, is there a Voice of the Patient report? When they're looking for what they are going to test for. So that means endpoints, right? So I'm trying to, it gets really highly scientific there. So I just kind of want to bring it down. When they're looking, hey, we want to test and see what's going to help with hyperphagia. Well, hyperphagia would be an endpoint. Well, this is an opportunity for us to say, hey, listen, that may not be the only thing that we need to look at when we're dealing with PWS. We have a lot of families that have other issues that they're dealing with. And this is an opportunity for us to establish what that might look like. So we know that there have been a couple of drug companies over the last several years who've actually gone to the FDA and said, hey, listen, do you have a Voice of the Patient report? And of course they didn't. So this is a first step for us in establishing, what it looks like for us as caregivers of people with PWS, have our voice heard, and hopefully allow that to help establish additional endpoints for the studies going forward. So it's a really exciting opportunity. It's never been done before. And it will be the second half of that Thursday of conference. So people usually start flying in. We have the scientific portion of conference, and then the family conference starts on that Friday morning. And this will be the Thursday before from noon to 4:30. So if you haven't registered for conference, or if you have and you haven't registered yourself for the PFDD meeting, please do it. We will have, we've been having meetings with the FDA now on a monthly basis. We are also collaborating with the other PWS organizations. So we're bringing in the International Prader-Willi Syndrome Association, and we are also bringing in FPWR, and we're working together so that we can collaborate and do what's right for the community. So all of us will have a seat at the table for this meeting. It's super important. So if you haven't been able to register, please do it. We expect between 30 to 40 members of the FDA to attend. Now that will not be in person. Most of that will be virtual. But that's basically the entire department of the FDA that reviews PWS drugs. So it's really important that we show up for this, okay, and that we take part in it, and that our voices are actually heard. It will be an in-person and virtual hybrid. So if for any reason you can't make it, there will be a virtual component for you to be able to attend. But being there in person, I'm sure, will be a completely different experience for all of us. So before we get into the kickoff, I just wanted to kind of lay out what that looks like for everybody. And then for those of you who are here, some of you are on our advocacy work group. So you know that we are coming up on Rare Disease Day. So in PWSA, we do a lot of work with larger organizations. Rare Disease Day is coming up.
Dora, sorry,
yes,
Melanie are going to manage the chat, so you don't have to worry about it.
Thank you so much. Okay. Anybody who knows me knows that I can't manage the chat, or I can, but then something else falls off. It's just the multitasking that it doesn't work out for me. So at PWSA, something that we've really focused on for the last 18 months is working with larger organizations to help have our voice heard, right? We're a small organization. It's a rare disease. So we do a lot of work with the Every Life Foundation, and the Every Life Foundation was founded actually by Mark Dett, who was our speaker at the Volunteer Summit last spring. And it encompasses all of the rare diseases in the United States. So there are over 7,000 rare diseases that are actually recognized in the US. And this year is the first time since COVID, actually, that they are able to do a fully in-person rare disease week on Capitol Hill. So because of what we are doing as an organization this year with our conference, this is a perfect opportunity for us to go to the Hill, to have our voices heard without it having to be just a PWSA fly-in. This is just an amazing opportunity. The Every Life Foundation, Stacy, if you want to butt in here, please do so. So Stacy Ward has had the opportunity to actually partake in an in-person fly-in event with the Every Life Foundation, and I'm gonna, not to put you on the spot, Stace, but if you just want to say a couple of words about what that was like when you experienced it with like 400 people.
Sure. It was amazing to start. So the presentations they did, first I walked away, and as most of you know, I am not a parent of a child with Prader-Willi syndrome. So my feelings may be a little bit different than the rest of you experiencing it as parents. But I walked away feeling like we're not in this alone anymore. So I participated in the last event prior to COVID, and there was easily 400 people there representing probably 4,000 to 5,000 different rare diseases. They break you up into state sections, just for the DC fly-in that we did, and you're group. So you travel to your meetings with that group. For us, we chose, the New York group chose to sit together at the presentations as well to get to know each other a little bit better. The presentations from both pharma, lobbyists, and other rare disease organizations were incredibly moving. If anybody has the opportunity to attend, I cannot say enough how much that changed. One, the way I look at advocacy, and what was needed, but also that sense of, we're such a rare disease. We have so many goals. How are we ever going to accomplish any of these things? And there's people that I, to this point, still stay in touch with that I met there that have helped us with some other things. So it's really something. If you can do it, do it. It's incredible.
Thank you, Stacy. Guys, if I just put in the chat that I don't know how to use, I just put the link in for the Every Life's Rare Disease Week on Capitol Hill. There is still time to register. I believe that the close off date is the 17th. I can tell you right now that there are 6 of us in the advocacy work group who are going to participate in this in person. I, of course, will be bringing Hunter, my son, in tow, which is always an adventure. But there will be a group of us there. So there is still time to register. They did have a very short period where they were accepting financial support requests, but I think they said they had over 300 requests. So that window has closed. But I believe if you can go, I believe the window closes on the 17th. So I went ahead and I put that in the chat. There's still time to register, and it's from February 28th, which is Rare Disease Day, and it goes through March 2nd. And the agenda is spectacular. There are panel discussions, there are legislative overviews, there's discussions with the NIH, there's a rare disease screening of a documentary that they do. And I think the only word that I can use for that is what Stacy first explained it to me before I had seen one, and that was powerful. Those documentaries are amazing. They do a virtual art gallery, rare artist virtual art gallery. And then they do the Young Leadership Conference as a part of this. It's called YAR, the Young Adult Rare Representative, I believe is how they refer to it. There's the Rare Disease Congressional Caucus briefings, and then the meetings on the Hill, and then receptions. It is just, it's a really exciting experience. So if any of you can go, let me know, PM me or send me an email, do it offline. And I'd be happy. I started trying to coordinate all of us who have families with PWS that are going to be going, so we can have our little crew represented. So if any of you are interested in going, I would love to have you. And I know it's like right around the corner, but it's kind of exciting. All right. And with that, I'm going to open it up to how we are kicking off our advocacy season this year. We are kicking it off with a fundraiser. So before everybody leaves, we had our work group sat down, and, in order to be able to do all the things that we do, we need to be able to raise money, right? We have been very fortunate over the past year and a half, but we've come up with an idea, walk a mile in their genes, and that is genes with a G. So we've spent some time now putting this together. Today's the kickoff. By the end of the week, you should be able to form your own campaigns. I'm going to go ahead and kick this over to Melanie for a second so she can talk to you a little bit about what we've created. And then maybe I started my campaign today, and I can walk you down what that's going to look like for my family, and then kind of open it up to show you what opportunities we've put together for you all to participate. And it's an 8-week campaign, so there's some time to work here. So Melanie, you are on.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melanie. I know many of you, but not all of you. So I'm excited to see you here, and grateful to Dorothea for the opportunity to join in on this call. I have a daughter named Josephine, who is almost 5 years old with Prader-Willi syndrome. And I had the good fortune of being able to attend the DC fly-in, where I learned a great deal about advocacy and was absolutely blown away by the level of dedication and the level of passion of all of the volunteers who attended. So I would encourage each of you to take Dorothea's invitation to get involved with advocacy seriously, because it's good for the soul, and it's definitely one of the most empowering things, I think, as a parent of a rare child that you can do is raise your voice. Second only, of course, to fundraising. So I'm excited to share that as well. So very excited about Dorothea's idea. And so what we did was we created a landing page, which I will share with you and also put in the chat.
And it has a really cool graphic.
Can everybody see that? So if you go to our page, hopeunited.pwsausa.org, you'll get to this over here. I'll put it in the chat in a couple of minutes so that you can go there yourself if you'd like. And essentially, it's a campaign that Dorothea has kind of put parameters around. Our goal is to raise $20,000, although I think there's capacity to raise even more. And we're asking each person who creates a page to make an attempt to raise at least $1,000. Now, as an aside, I'm just going to tell you, I had a call last week with a mom in Colorado who is just recently, like less than a week ago, launched a fundraiser for her son's birthday, which is this month, and she's already surpassed her $1,000 goal. And she was very anxious and nervous about how this was going to work out, and has been totally blown away by the support of family and friends. So PWSA, obviously, we fundraise throughout the year to make sure that we have the resources to meet the needs of our families and enhance the quality of life for all of our loved ones with PWS. We do that through different solicitation campaigns throughout the year, but about 7 months ago, we launched this Hope United platform for the very reasons Dorothea said. There are dozens of people that you all as parents are connected to in your community, and they will only give if you ask them. They're not necessarily going to be moved to give if they get a letter from somebody at PWSA who they don't know. They want to give because they love your family and they want to support your child. And so this system, this platform, Hope United, is really designed with that in mind, designed to empower you with ease and without a whole lot of time in creating your own fundraising page. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what that looks like and what tools and resources are available for those of you that sign on. And also I'm hoping, and feel free to message Stacy or message me in the chat. If somebody is thinking they're going to do this anyway and they want to get a head start, I was thinking we might take a minute and show everybody how easy it is to create a page live.
That would be, is there anybody who thinks that they might want to do this? I would love to have a guinea pig. I created mine earlier today, so I can't be the guinea pig.
I can be. Oh,
Go ahead.
I do it if anybody else doesn't want to.
Okay, Jen.
All right.
I think I did interrupt though somebody. Somebody else was trying to talk.
Well, so the good news is that this is something that's very easy for you to do without our help. But I'm also going to make sure everybody has my email, because I'm more than happy to make a little Zoom appointment with any of you that are a little technologically challenged or intimidated, or just simply looking for a little bit of encouragement and positivity as you launch your campaign. That's what my role here is all about, is supporting you in doing this. So this is the landing page from which anybody anywhere can create a fundraiser. So maybe you don't want to do it, but your spouse does, or maybe you have a parent or grandparent, in-law, sister, somebody who's been trying to figure out a way that they can support your family, and they're well connected and they want to do it. You don't have to be a parent of a child with PWS to do this. You can just be someone passionate who wants to help make a difference.
Hey, Mel, can I cut in for a second?
Please. Yep.
Guys, in addition to that, so we do something year round called Wear Jeans for Rare Genes. And I kind of took that concept and built on it also, and have reached out to a couple of schools. My husband's a teacher, so I reached out to his school, and both of my nieces attend an amazing school here in Miami. And so both of those schools are actually using the platform that I set up here to also raise money, and using the concept of wearing jeans and walk a mile in their jeans campaign. So it's a lot easier than you think. So I'm sorry, Melanie, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Just really quickly, because I don't want to digress or lose our momentum here. Up here at the top on this menu are all these drop downs. So in addition to, learning about this campaign and coming to this page in order to create your own fundraising page, we have here all these other resources. And in fact, just today, we completed a toolkit of resources that's just for a Walk a Mile fundraiser. But in the meantime, just to show you a little bit of what that will be like, we have a place here where if you want to have a flyer or you want to do something special, you can download, our logos. There will be a drop down with just the Hope United logo. For some reason, it's not letting me do that. Let me share again. Oh, we love technology, don't we?
No.
No. Pardon me. Here we go.
And you guys, I just had a question from somebody, just so that all of you know what this is being raised for. This is actually being raised for advocacy and for research. So just to reiterate that.
Right. So here, we have special yard signs. If you're going to have a walk in your community, you can have these printed at your local Staples or upload them to Vistaprint or wherever. If you want to have a banner for your event, there's all different tools and resources that we've made available just to try to make it as easy for you as possible. You can have an in-person event, a virtual event, a hybrid event. There's many different ways that you can do this. And we also have some great videos that feature stories of individuals in the community that have hosted different kinds of fundraisers for us in the past. So if you're feeling like you need some motivation or you want to be inspired at other families and what they've done to help make a difference for PWSA, you can just pop on here and just take a minute and, and hear their story as well. So just to get us back to where we
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
And so you guys know, by the end of this week, we have Melanie, I'm going to share my screen for a second because I want to bring up some of the stuff that we did. So what you were seeing there was the Hope United. But hold on a second. Yes, do I want to? Okay. What I wanted to show you is what we've created is everything that you saw there in that toolkit. We have branded with the Walk a Mile in Their Genes campaign. And everything is customizable. So you will have the opportunity to also, we can use the 15 facts about PWS and you can customize that. In addition to that, we have a QR code with every single one of these that will direct people right back to the campaign. So it's in the process of being uploaded. All the material it will be there by the end of the week. So it's extremely easy. And we do have we have one family who is working in a way, and they're every quarter of a mile when somebody stops at where they are, they're going to be handed a piece of paper and it's a fact about PWS, and they go through that for the 15 facts about PWS, and every single one of those has a QR code that can lead them to more information and to the actual campaign. So there's a lot of information and it's all branded for this specific campaign.
Thanks, Dorothea. And in addition to that, there will also be resources in the toolkit that you can use if you want to track your miles. There will be a list of all the different apps that you could use to help you do that if you want to do this, or maybe compete with a friend who lives on the other side of the country to see which of you can walk the most miles. You can do that as well. So I believe it was Jen that offered to be a guinea pig. So I thought we could take 5 minutes because really that's all it takes, assuming that the technology follows us around. Do you mind, Jen, if we create a page really fast that you can use for fundraising?
Yeah, please do.
Sweet. Okay. Well, we're going to appreciate everyone's patience here. So you're going to click that the button. I don't know, Stacy, if you can go to the Hope United page and put the link in the chat for the Walk a Mile campaign page.
I think I can do it. I think I can.
HopeUnited.pwsausa.org/walk-a-mile. I'm going to click join as a new participant. I'm going to say start your fundraiser, and the recommended goal is $1,000. Is that comfortable for you, Jen?
I have good luck with threes, so we're gonna use,
So we'll do 3,000.
we're gonna do 3,000.
All right.
So-
I love an overachiever.
So I'm not going to argue with you. So over here, it basically is saying, do you want to be the first person to make a gift? And, you know, since I don't want Jen to have to read her credit card information online, I'm just going to suggest, Jen, that if you want to make a gift before your page goes public, that you can absolutely go ahead. It will ask, you know,
Yeah.
it will give you other opportunities, but that's what that is. It just wants to know if you want to be the first supporter to your campaign. So I'm going to say
Well-
no additional gift at this time.
Okay,
Next,
but do we know, like Melanie, like has research showed, like if it starts out at
so
a certain number?
research shows that it's easier to gain momentum and get attract donations if you yourself have skin in the game. Obviously, they know you do because you have a child with Prader-Willi, but in addition, if there's already a little bit of money in the pot and people see that forward momentum, it gives them all the more reason to
I mean,
give.
is there a magic percentage, Melanie? Like, do I do 100? Do I do, like, what do I have to?
You know what? It's everybody's personal choice. Like if you're only wanting to raise $1,000 and you're nervous that you're not going
Well,
to get
let
if
me
you
stick to my threes. So
yeah, no,
I'll
I'm
do-
just saying
I'll do
for the crowd.
300. All right, I'll do 300. 'Cause
Woohoo.
it's,
Great.
uh,
So is everybody
Let
able
me,
to follow
you-
this?
yeah,
Okay, Jen, what's your home address?
my
Okay.
threes. Oh, does it go out to everybody? Like, I don't mind all of us, but does it go to?
Why don't you do this, Jen? Why don't you send it to her in the chat privately?
Oh, I don't mind if all of us see it. I just
Okay.
don't know if I want everybody to.
Nobody else will see it.
Yeah.
You know what? I can also just put in like a fake address for now and we can change it later.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm sending it to you.
And
Again, I
what's
don't
your-
mind if
what's your
anybody
city-
else.
I can change it after the webinar, after this is over, I can go in and change it. But what city do you live in?
I'm in Bradenton, Bradenton.
Okay, zip code.
34208.
And your email, Jen.
JNGARZIA at Outlook.
And again, it doesn't require the phone number, so we can do that another time. So you're going to want to receive email from PWSA and you're going to need a username and password, which again, after you log in, you can change. So I'm just going to make it your email for now.
Yeah. And I can't give out my password because it's literally my password for every single thing I have.
Okay, well, I'm going to make you one. And again, we can
You could
change
it after.
later.
I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, boy,
Yeah, you're
somebody
done.
gets it just once.
No, so I've made you one and no one
Okay.
will see it. So next up, so far we're like, what, 2 minutes into this, right?
Mhm.
So here's her information. She's starting her fundraiser. Her registration is now complete. So when your registration is complete, it sends an email to me letting me know that you have gone ahead and done this, which triggers me within the next day or two to reach out to you. See, I got a little notification here. Triggers me to reach out to you and say, thank you so much. And how can I help? And are you struggling at all inside the platform? So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to access your participant center by clicking that button. And you're going to go in here and use all these tools. So inside these tools here, it gives you step-by-step instructions. Set up your personal page, add context to your address book if you would like. Some people are more comfortable using social media. You see this big rectangular button here? That is a Facebook integration button, which is very different from just simply taking the URL of your page and copying and pasting it onto Facebook. Basically what it does is it creates a duplication of your fundraiser that is synced together with this page. So instead of creating a separate Facebook fundraiser, this basically lets the funds go back and forth and lets you speak to your. You want to watch?
You want the woods.
Hi, Josie.
Lets you. Can you take her?
Josie, come on.
Sorry, bedtime here too. Bedtime here.
Real world.
Hi.
You want, okay, Sue wants to say hi. Say hi.
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 Aw.
It would be right at this minute. Jojo, go with Henry. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. So basically, when you click this button, it will log you into your Facebook, and it will mean that everything is synced, so that when somebody makes a donation to your campaign on Facebook, it will
Mhm.
show up on your PWSA page. The things that you need to do essentially in here, is edit your content. So with one click, you can say this is walk a mile in Rocco's shoes.
Jeans.
Or jeans, yeah.
And then you can go on here, Jen, with your
Okay.
login and password, and you can take out any of this that doesn't feel like you, or use the first paragraph to tell your story about, about why you're doing this and why you're feeling passionate about research. After you do that, you press save, and it will save any changes that you've made. You can go in here and you can personalize your URL, so that if you were to rattle it off to somebody, I know it's a lot, hopeunited.pwsausa.org/go
Mhm.
to Rocco.
Mine is Walk with Hunter.
That way it's like one more thing that you have that's going to make it easier for people. And then the
Okay.
last thing you can do really quickly is you can update the media. So if you don't want to use this picture, if you want to use a picture of Rocco, or you want to use a picture of you at the fly-in, or whatever you want to do, you can personalize it that way as well.
You can use a video too, right, Melanie?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So when you're done, you're going to click here, and it's going to say connect fundraiser to Facebook. And if you're already logged into Facebook, it's going to sync everything and bring over your picture and your copy and your goal. And it's going to allow you to fundraise in both places, but usually within 30 minutes of a gift, everything will sync. So if you make a donation, Jen, to your own page of $200, and then you share it onto Facebook, usually within 30 minutes, you'll see that $200 also appear on your Facebook. So the totals are going to match, and they're going to be the same regardless of what place you're posting in. So again, you're not just copying and pasting your URL that we just set up, which you can do. You can put that in an email. You can put it on your Facebook page. When you do the integration, it makes it seem like it's already part of Facebook. So somebody doesn't have to click on your Hope United page and enter their credit card information if they already have PayPal or something set up, because they are accustomed to donating on Facebook.
Is it able to link to Instagram? I mean, I know they don't.
So
Yeah.
you can share it on Instagram,
Right.
Yeah, that's
but it doesn't link.
And you could just, and then you could put the
You could
You
just
could put the
URL in the
URL.
like that.
comments.
Yeah, like that URL.
So this
however you phrase it,
URL
yeah.
here, you can put it in email, you can text it to people, you can do
Okay.
anything you want and use that as your thing. And the other thing I'll just show you is, it was Kat Lucero I was on the phone with yesterday. She surpassed her goal of $1,000 and she wanted to increase it. And you can do that right here inside your participant center. You can say, you know what, I'm going to raise $3,500 and save
Okay.
that as your goal, and it will instantly do that. And then again, in a few minutes, you'll see the update also on Facebook as well. So this platform lets you customize what you need to do. It's pretty easy. It will keep a list, a report of, who's given and how much. And then also you can thank people from inside the platform as well, if you wish to.
Okay.
So
but
it's
it's
cool. It's like a one-stop
Like it.
shop. And
If
it's-
you don't
yeah.
have a lot of editing you want to do to your text and you don't want to change your picture, you can literally have this ready to go in 5 minutes. And that's the plan. If we make it easy for you, you'll be able to do it, without a lot of trouble and without being terribly intimidated by the technology.
And guys, this is just to let you know, like this is the first time that our advocacy group is spearheading anything like this. So we're just trying to see kind of how this goes, how people respond. we've done a lot in the last year, and we have big goals ahead of us. So being able to do something like this to raise money for our advocacy program and our research program going forward is really incredible. So if we can get 20 people to raise $1,000, we're good. We're good. We're there.
So one more thing that I'll just share is, in an effort to amplify these efforts, I know that some of the people that are planning to do this also have someone in mind that they're going to approach about matching the dollars that they raise. So if you are planning to raise $1,000 and you have a friend with a business or a doctor that or somebody is willing to match you, whatever you get to by your goal date, there is a way that person can either make the gift through the platform, or if you utilize the tools up top that I showed you, there's a form you can download to mail in a check, and we will enter it into your page from behind the scenes, and then you'll see it as a part of your total.
Melanie, can you go down to the where you sync the contacts in and go through that one more? So my contacts for my emails. My email, okay.
So some people use this feature. I think it's primarily for people that anticipate a significant number of gifts from outside of the Facebook integration. So like, for example, I have a couple of like elderly aunts who aren't on social media. So I could either email them on Yahoo, which is my email of choice, or if you go to this add contacts, you can actually import contacts from whatever your email provider is. You click here and it will come up as, whatever your email service is, and you log in and put in your password, and it will populate with email addresses.
And then you just highlight whichever ones you want to use, and then just hit, I guess there'll be a function and it'll just send an email out to them.
Right.
Yep.
So just here's an example. So we're going to email and solicit our friend Dorothea. And add her to our list. But then in addition to that, there are templates inside here that you can utilize that give you like sample language. So if you want to solicit friends and family for support, it will populate with our standard language, and you can come in just like you would on your description of your page, and you can tell your story, or you can say dear Doro or dear family or whatever it is.
Michelle, I see your question in the chat, which is like a miracle because I never see anything in the chat. And
I'm not.
I see that you have your hand raised also. So your question is, has anyone come across a 2023 Rare Disease Month PWS awareness banner or poster that can be printed on a yard sign for February? So actually, if you go, you won't see it in the toolkit until Friday. But in this toolkit here, you can take we have the yard signs, and you can just reword it and make your yard sign out of that. And I'm going to see if I can find one of the yard signs so that I can show you how you might be able to customize it.
Really,
I raised my hand because it was a two-part question. I also thought about, will what Melanie is showing right now generate a QR code? Because I wanted to put the QR code on the banner and put it in my yard for the entire month of February, and make my neighbors feel really bad if I don't get any donuts.
I love it. Yes, actually, we have the QR code.
Yeah, so there will be a QR code to take people to the regular page where they can either make a donation or register to create their own page. But what's better is that if you create a page for your own fundraiser, you can just go online and Google QR code generator, and you plug in whatever your address is, and it will spit out a QR code for you. So we're going to have a QR code that's the main code for this event. But I think what would be most helpful is if it takes them to a page that has your picture and your story on it. I just wanted to point out really quickly on the left here, like, let's say you import 30 email addresses and you're going to email all of them, but some of them have Dorothea is just slacking and has not made her donation. It's going to track for you who's responded and who hasn't, and try to make it, as easy for you as possible to do what you need to do. And you can change this information at any time. You can change your login and password. And then, you know, as always, and I'm gonna put this in the chat too, you can just email me and I'm happy to make a time to work with you and support you and cheer you on.
You can also bother me, guys, because everybody bothers me. It's not a bother, actually. And I've been going around over the last several months and doing quite a bit of talking, not just about PWS, but PWS in relation to rare disease. So if any of you are interested in maybe giving a presentation, you know, maybe you're doing a walk and you want to talk about, you know, PWS. If you want to talk about your story, how it affects your family, or if you want to talk about, you know, PWS and all rare diseases, since we're doing this within the rare disease space, you know, the 8 weeks before and after Rare Disease Day, I am happy to sit with you on Zoom or even face to face if you want to come down to Miami, and just walk through and help create a presentation that you're comfortable with. And the more that you start talking about it, the easier it is. And I know that some of you who are with us in DC who were maybe a little apprehensive when we first started ended up being just the best advocates we could have ever hoped for. So it's easier than you think. And I'm happy to help walk anyone through, you know, any of this. If you need to create a PowerPoint or just, you know, want to create a game out of talking about rare disease, we can do that too. So I'm here, folks, and you know how to reach me. It's not hard. Does anyone have any questions? Does anybody have any questions about the opportunity to go to Rare Disease Week in DC with the Every Life Foundation? I like to open these up for discussion instead of keeping it as strictly a webinar, so that everyone has the opportunity to kind of engage with the other folks who've taken the time to be here. Don't all speak at once.
Is there a lot of preparation required to go in February? Because I didn't think I was going to be able to do any of this, and I'm trying really hard to make things happen.
So there's not a lot of preparation. I don't know if you can see it in the chat.
Yeah, I pulled it up.
Okay.
I got it, but I didn't know if there was like.
So the registration is free. They do not have hotel blocks. I sent out an email earlier today to some of the folks in the advocacy work group who were planning on attending. I know that it looks like there's going to be 6 of us. And when I say 6 of us, I think 3 of us are actually like families. So there'll be more than 6 if you're looking at just people. But we'll have a nice little group. So I'm trying to see if we can coordinate staying in the same hotel. And the agenda, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the agenda. It's pretty dense. You know, I had the opportunity to be a part of the Patients Rising fly-in last June. And the intensity level is it's a lot. It's a lot. The panel discussions, being able to meet, you know, we had 51 advocates from 21 states. We're looking at about 400 to 500 advocates from all over the country. So it's an incredible opportunity. And you have a lot of, it's not just caregivers, you have a lot of people who are afflicted with a rare disease who are actually able to be there and advocate on behalf of themselves. It's not complicated. The registration is free. So if you can make that happen, I would encourage you to do so. But reach out to me offline if you're looking for help with hotels and things like that. I know for us, you know, I need to try to stay closer to the Capitol because with my 5-year-old with PWS in tow, it always gets fun. But I'm happy to help in any way I can. This will be like my 3rd or 4th time, I think, doing this. So
yeah, I hope we'll see. There's
well,
so much.
listen, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. Hopefully we'll be able to take a small trip in May. We're just not sure what that's going to look like yet. But we will definitely be doing a DC fly-in next year with PWSA. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing something like this right now, so that we can make sure to make that happen for our folks. It was such an amazing experience for all of us. Just getting together and actually starting to affect real change and affect policy and have those discussions with lawmakers and establish our presence on Capitol Hill. We have to keep doing that. We have to keep doing that on an annual basis, or people will forget who we are, and we cannot afford for that to happen to our community. So you know where to find me. I will help you. If you can do it, you can. If you can't, please, don't stress about it. We all live in this world, okay? And we all know how hard it is on a day-to-day basis. So give yourself grace.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I am curious, how, when we go to like the rare disease day and everybody's going up there and there's, 400, 500 rare diseases represented, how do we set us kind of apart from everybody else?
Oh, I love that
Or-
question.
Or are we really, okay, well, look at what take over.
I love that question. So they will go through some legislative asks, right? So some of the prep work before the day on the Hill will be about the rare disease legislative advocates. It's RDLA, and they will be going through some suggestions of things that we should ask for. So I don't know what those asks are now. They have not distributed those, but I would imagine there's going to be something about newborn screening. There's going to be something about STAT Act. There's going to be a few of those things. But we have the opportunity when you go in these groups and you meet with these members. Some of us who were in DC with PWSA, there can be anywhere between 5 to 10 people in each of your meetings, right? And you're meeting with staff 9 times out of 10. We got lucky when we went the last time. I think we ended up with 7 or 8 in-person meetings, but you're meeting with staff, you're going over these things and you're telling your story. And you know what, Jen Garcia, I'm going to put you on the spot here. So Jen she had a very similar question, and we spent a lot of time, trying to take our PWS story and make it applicable to what our ask was and why it was important. So, for example, if we're looking to get funding from the congressionally designated medical research program, which will help fund additional research programs for PWS, right? That's one of our big asks. That is very easy for you as a constituent to start that conversation with your elected official when you're there in person, and being there with Every Life gives you the opportunity to do that. So if you have 5 people in your group and every person gets maybe 3 minutes to tell their story, that's your opportunity to talk about PWS and why it's important that elected officials support this ask. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. No, that makes a lot
Okay.
of sense.
So one thing that I did before we went to DC that I would be really happy to do again, I had office hours twice a week. I don't know that I would be able to do that before this trip, but I did a lot of one-to-ones, right? So I worked with folks on helping craft their story and taking some of our asks and making it applicable to their individual story. And so, for example, Jen was talking about some of the things that she's had to go through with Rocco. She actually had to move to the state of Florida in order to get some of his unmet needs met. What did that mean for her family? And when you can take your story and make it apply to your ask, you become real. So it sounds like a lot, but it's so much easier than you think. And I know that Maggie was part of our group in Florida. She did a really good job at that too. So did Michelle. Michelle Torbert, who was also part of our Florida group, did it. And Melanie, you were there too. You were part of our, Valerie, you were there. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Jessica
has a question. Yeah.
Jessica, I'm sorry. I see your hand up.
Hi. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure if I unmuted myself. I just wanted to, I guess, kind of add, because this is my first time on this call, and trying to, I guess, do more. But I did a Capitol Hill Day when I was in college for my profession, and I had no idea what I was doing. It was a bunch of us students. But I think, and even as an adult, I think if you're not into, I guess, the advocacy and the politics and all, it's definitely very overwhelming. And thinking that, well, I don't want to go because I don't want to do something wrong. But I know that when I went, even as a student, just being around the other people who have done it before, and because there's definitely people who have been there multiple times and really know how to drive the conversation and all that. I think that I just kind of wanted to put it out there, like, don't be afraid to do it. Because I hope that I could go next month. And I still don't know what I'm doing, but being able to be there and be in the environment and learn from everyone else, you don't have to feel afraid to like step out of your comfort zone.
Right. Thank you so much for saying that. It is a little scary, right? And we had a lot of preparation leading up to our fly-in this last September. And I know that everyone was a little nervous about doing it. And I think out of our 51 advocates, I think there were only about 6 or 7 of us who had ever done anything like that before. And out of those, I think half of them were on the state level, not federal level. So, when you want to affect change, sometimes you just have to step outside of your comfort zone. And if we're going to do something to help our families, and that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. And what we did when we went in September, and I don't know that everybody's going to be able to do that on this trip, but I'm hoping the next time when we're able to go in 2024 again, a lot of us brought our kids with PWS because, you're dealing with over 7,000 rare diseases, right? Not a lot of people have heard about PWS. Now, I will tell you in the last year, these people have heard a lot about PWS. They're going to see us walk in and go, oh my gosh, they're here again. But we had a lot of folks come in with their loved one with PWS. And that is different. You don't see that on Capitol Hill. You may see a patient advocate, but you don't see a lot of caregivers bringing their loved one with their rare disease to Capitol Hill, because it is not an environment that is conducive to that. There's not even a changing table. There's one changing table between the Senate and the House buildings altogether. So it's an adventure, but it definitely does make a difference. So, and again, we have to kind of get ourselves out of our comfort zone if we're going to actually make a difference. So thanks, Jessica. I appreciate you bringing that up. You need to, if you can't make it with Every Life, you better be there next year. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm cognizant of the time. I know it's almost 9 o'clock Eastern. So I know that all of us are trying to wrap up our days or get to bed or put littles to bed or bigs to bed. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to go right ahead. Okay, and with that, you all know how to reach me. You can email me at DLay. I'll put my email in the chat. So if you don't know how to get a hold of me, you can email me. Let me just make sure this is the right email. Yes, it is. Okay. So if any of you want to get a hold of me, just ask a couple questions, please feel free to email me. And if not, I hope to see you soon.